This is case number GC 141752, Community Alliance Credit Union versus Elisa Triplett. And may we have an appearance for the record?
Good afternoon, Your Honor. This is Terry Whitehouse on behalf of the plaintiff, which is now known as People Driven Credit Union.
People who? People driven, did you say?
Yes, People Driven Credit Union.
All right, and what's your name?
Good afternoon, Your Honor. My name is Elisa Triplett.
Okay, and Ms. Triplett, good afternoon to you. And so we're all here on this one. This is the afternoon for objections to garnishment.
Yeah.
So I think you've been listening a little bit on the other cases, but let's see what we got in your case. We've got a judgment from, let's see. Amended judgment 126 of 15. And it looks like it was for $5,910.80. And you're objecting to two garnishments, a tax garnishment from, let's see what they actually get. Three garnishments you're objecting to. There's a tax garnishment from November 6th of 2023. Also objecting to the extra credit union, which is the same thing as like a bank garnishment. And that one was from let's see. I got a tax garnishment here. Looking for the extra credit union one. Does council have an idea when that one was issued?
I believe that they were all issued on the same day.
Really? I have the tax one in my file. Third party withholding unit, November 6th, 2023. I have one also. Says third party withholding unit 10/25 in 2023. I don't know why I got two tax garnishments coming the same period, but I do.
Your Honor, when I came in to look at the paperwork and I mentioned that, she had to go somewhere else to grab it. I don't know what that was about, but it wasn't together.
Okay. And then we got an NCH management systems from, looks like 10/15 or something like that, 10/18. The way this person writes, I can't tell if that's a 5 or an 8. Are you objecting to NCH management too? Yes, you are. So that must be a work garnishment.
Well, I was fired from there, so I guess that's void. I was fired on the day I returned back from that on December 7th.
Well, are you sure they don't have any money?
Sorry?
You sure they're not withholding money from your last check? I don't know if they are.
They paid them out money. Well, I don't want to get ahead of myself.
Okay, so let's see what the basis is for all of these objections.
Yeah.
Let's see. The objection is community alliance or people driven can't show a contract. Okay, here we go again. You can't object to the judgment itself. You have to object to the garnishment. Now, showing whether or not you had a contract is the judgment. Now, let's see what happened back with that judgment. Because it was a default judgment, and plaintiff amended the judgment down. And for whatever reason, it got entered as a default originally. Maybe it didn't come to court. Maybe it was for mediation. I can't tell.
Judge's notes on that also when you were the judge. But
Yeah, it was a default judgment though,
Yeah.
from 2014. It got amended down. And I got notes that there was offers made between the parties back in 2014,
we did a settlement.
and there was a settlement, so that's how the judgment got reduced. So you agreed to that.
Yeah, I did.
So if you
appreciate
agreed to
that.
that, how are you coming back now
Well,
saying that, oh, guess what? I'm trying to challenge the judgment because they don't show I owe anything.
well, let me explain that real quick. So the past year, okay, I was with People Driven Credit Union. Great history, credit, everything's going well. Then they acquired Community Alliance. All of a sudden, they start treating me different. Then they called me and was like, you owe us for your vehicle, you have with Community Alliance, you owe us for credit card, and you owe us for a signature loan. And I said, I do not. So they have been on me excessively for the past year, and I have to show them I do not owe for the vehicle.
But you
I
got
do
a
not owe
judgment.
for the credit card. So they said, okay, you're right, Ms. Triplett. You don't owe for the credit card. You paid that off. You're right, Ms. Triplett. We didn't even come after you for the vehicle. They sold the vehicle and wouldn't give me the information. So that was a wash. They couldn't do anything about that.
So what do you believe you agreed to with the reduced judgment?
Well, what it was is that when the initial judgment came about, it was for a credit card and a signature loan together.
Okay.
Okay, they were together. So I paid that off with the settlement. I'm waiting for AAA. They just called me back on Monday after all this time.
AAA.
Because I was being garnished and I was trying to show proof of how much I paid because they couldn't present any information to me for the past 3 months. I've been asking for a paper trail of payments.
So you're
business
thinking that you
contract.
paid off the judgment? Is that what you're saying?
Yes, and what it was that they said, okay, you did pay it off, Ms. Triplett, but you didn't pay off the signature loan. That's the only thing that you owe now, and that was recently discussed.
Listen, I can't tell what the judgment is for. It was just reduced to a certain amount. So
Right.
it's real simple from my perspective. Doesn't matter what it is. Did you pay the full judgment amount?
I did.
And you got proof of that.
And this is.
Where's the proof? What do you got?
This is my dilemma. The credit card and the signature loan was together. So how can I pay one off without paying the other off?
Ma'am, okay, make this simple for me. The judgment was $5,959.80. Whatever you paid, together, separately, do you have receipts showing
This was
something?
almost 10 years ago.
Well, then how can you show me that it's been paid off?
Because, well, they couldn't present
It's your-
information showing
It's
that I
your
owed it.
motion. If they don't have to prove it, you do. It's your motion.
Right. I
You're the
understand
one
that.
saying I paid it.
I understand
So
that.
if you paid it off, that is a valid way to object to a garnishment.
I understand
Yes,
that.
it is.
And when
But you gotta show it.
yes, you're
And
right.
you're saying it's 10 years, so you don't have any receipts?
When I was 10 years ago,
Go get your bank records. However you think you
I
paid it.
tried to do that, but like I said, people are just responding to me this past week. And even when I went to People Driven, I'm like, I'm going through a lot. My dad has cancer. I'm trying to work with my dad and my mom, she on something else. But I'm trying to work with two parents and I'm the youngest of 10. And I'm dealing with all this. And I said, why don't we, this is 10 years. You guys coming after me after 10 years. Why don't y'all let's just do 20%. If you're saying I owe this, let's just get it
Well,
done.
now that's between you two. You can always.
And they were
work it.
like, no, we want 80, 90%. I'm like, y'all just acquired this debt from Community Alliance. They won't negotiate, period.
Well, guess what? I can be a little heavy-handed, but ultimately I can't make them take it. If I thought it was fair, I still can't say you must settle this case for 20%.
Yes, Your Honor.
Now, I can't suggest. Is it open for your client to try to work off whatever she still may owe and come up with something or not?
Your Honor, I can't speak to any, kind of discussions that she actually had with the credit union because we're not privy to that. When we were brought in January to represent, due to collecting on the judgment, there haven't been discussions with us of can we pay, 20% as far as if anything was discussed, it's usually we say if you are wanting to do a lump sum, we usually are at about 85 to 90%, being that credit unions are nonprofits and they're local, and so they don't have the same type of margins that other lending institutions would have. So certainly open to payment plans, certainly open to lump sum payments. It's just it wouldn't be something that the client would endorse.
Do you even have an idea what amount she says she doesn't, it's been 10 years, she doesn't have a receipt. Do you have an idea what you're claiming that she might still owe that you're garnishing her for? I know I've got I don't even know if I've got the disclosures or anything here, but let's see. I know your statement should say it. I don't know if I have that. Here's the statement. Okay. So for the tax one, all it says is the full 9595980.
Currently, right now, what is owed is $5,223.20. There were 3 garnishments made from her previous employer, which is NCH Management, which is probably the payroll service.
Okay.
And those were made in November 15th of 23, November 30th of 23, and December 12th of 23.
And also, Your Honor, I was also objecting because I was on disability.
You can't object. That's not a basis to object to a garnishment.
But they still took my money and they weren't supposed to.
Excuse me?
While I was on disability.
I'm not aware under the law, unless you can show me where it says that if you're off on disability, they can't garnish. Maybe I'm missing something, but I'm not aware of that.
Yeah, when I called and I Googled, they said that they're not supposed to, that's up to the
Who
company
said
to
that?
not release the money.
Who said that? The credit union? Who said that?
No, the credit union did not. Of course, they wouldn't say that.
Who told you that? Your employers?
Not just my employers, just people that I engaged.
I'm not aware. Let's ask counsel. Are you aware of that? That if she is on disability, you can't garnish? I mean, I can learn something new every day.
No, Your Honor, I think that there might be a bit of a disconnect with understanding whether it's Social Security disability or
that
it's
could
like,
be. That could be.
Short-term disability within a previous employer. I think there might be a disconnect.
Yeah.
Yeah, because when I was looking at some legal records, they said that they weren't, because my income was different. And at the rate they were garnishing at, it didn't support them to take the money out of my check. When I was looking at some legal records. So I don't mean, I could, I'm just going by what I read on the legal
okay, but let me just say this.
website.
You just can't keep adding things. She's entitled to get some notice as to what your defense is on this garnishment. The only thing you wrote was that they can't show a contract showing I owe anything. This case is 8 years old. These accounts are settled and paid. All the things you're saying now, you're just not saying. You didn't list that as a grounds that you believe fits into a garnishment objection. The only thing I can really deal with now is the fact as to whether or not they're paid. You don't have any evidence that they're paid. You're just saying they're paid. Not that I'm calling you a liar, but I have to have some evidence to show so I could rule in your favor that you paid everything.
Well, the rationale, they're saying, like I said, they were telling me I owe all this, and then when they dug deeper, they're like, okay, well, you were right. You don't owe for the vehicle. You don't owe for the credit card. But if the credit card and the signature was filed together, and you're saying, oh, well, you paid the credit card off, but not the signature, how is that? I don't understand that. You're asking for additional information, payment history.
The problem is you got to show that you paid it all. They don't have to show that you paid it. You do.
Right, and I'm waiting for a company that took months to respond to me. They said on Monday it's going to take up to 2 to 3 weeks before we can release information to you.
About which kind of information?
In regards to all of the payments that I've made
Okay, I'll tell you what.
to them.
If they're gonna give you some information, you think you can use that to show you paid it off, I'll adjourn it 2 weeks or to 3 weeks.
Okay.
If that's what you need to get your ducks in order to show you paid it. In the interim, you can still talk. This council says you have not talked to them at this point because they're new in the
And
case.
that's
Wait a
not
minute,
right.
you
I may
can
have
still
not
talk to
spoken
her.
to her, but I've called their firm about 15 times.
Okay,
That's
ma'am,
a law firm.
let's start from-
They're never in. They're
let's
never
start
done, they
from
never return.
today. Let's not go
I know
backwards.
their history.
Let's
I
move
know it.
forward.
I already know how they roll.
Listen. Okay, this how they gonna roll now. Because guess who in charge of this proceeding? Me. So if I advise counsel to talk to you, guess what counsel's going to do? She's gonna talk to you. Isn't that right, counsel?
Yes, and Your Honor, we had a wonderful discussion before this, and
Yes.
I feel very much for her, that she's in the transition between jobs, and
Right.
certainly a lot of things going on.
So she seems like she's willing to talk about what she could do to help you get it paid. Or if you could get a lump sum, take that and call the rest a wash. So let's have you guys do that. In the meantime, I will adjourn it for you to see what documentation you can find to show you paid it off. And if you got the documentation to show you paid it off, then you paid it off. Then you don't know anything.
Okay.
So let's do that. Can we get like 3 weeks? Okay, so he's still looking for a date.
Thursday, May 9th.
How about that for both? May 9th? At what time?
I'm not gonna be in town on the night,
Okay, when are you leaving and coming back?
graduating with his sergeant in the Air Force.
Oh, nice. When will you be coming back from that?
I will be back probably the 20th, spending Mother's Day with the mayor too.
California, and you spend Mother's Day, so you're coming back when?
Probably the 20th,
May 20th?
no
should
later
be-
than the 20th.
Thursday, May 30th, 10 o'clock.
Right, May 30th at 10 a.m. That'll be our adjourn date, so you might want to make that.
Number, Judge?
Hmm?
What's the
This
case?
is case number GC 141752, Community Alliance Credit Union, now known as People Driven Credit Union versus Triplet. So make sure you make your calls and start to negotiate if you're gonna do that before you leave, so that when you come back, we'll have answers on all of this.
Yes,
Okay, all right, so, we'll send a notice out.
Also, Your Honor, if I'm requesting information from their community alliance, which people driven on,
It's your account, you should be able to just ask for it.
I have, and they won't release anything to me.
What do you mean, won't?
Because these past months, I've been trying to get that payment history, and they sent only the last payment history from the money that they garnished recently, back in October, November. And I said, okay, well, there was a paper trail, and I think honestly, I was making the payments to Butler. Now that I'm here, I'm starting to get a little bit more refreshed, I guess I'll reach out to you on that.
That would be wonderful. Okay. And Your Honor, I believe that there was, the lapse of time, the statements for all of this were from 2012, 2013, and they were archived. So they're not actually able to produce all of the statements from 2012 and 2013. I have
it's 10
years
years or
worth,
so.
or I should say beyond, before that and beyond that. So we have a year's worth of statements between 2012 and 2013 that we can produce. And as far as what collections, if any, that were made since the judgment, we're not aware of any other than the 3 garnishments
That just happened.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. That answers that then. So we'll see everybody back on May 30th, 10 a.m.
Thank you, Your Honor. Thank you.
All right.